Hello everybody, JenniferMaker here. It's a beautiful day to make adorable snowflake designs with a name or your favorite word. You can make lots of items with these designs, but they make adorable tree ornaments, in my opinion. If you've always wanted to make your own but don't know where to start, I've got you covered. In this video, I'll show you how to use Cricut Design Space to make a custom name snowflake. Plus, I'll show you how to cut the finished result with your cutting machine to make an ornament sturdy enough for display. Now, the tools and materials to make a named snowflake are simple yet important. You can use quality poster board like this pretty metallic kind, or I'll show you how to make versions with medium weight cardstock. You'll need some good quality craft glue, like my favorite Bearly Art. You can also combine cardstock layers for a layered look. And of course, we need a cutting machine because these snowflakes are very intricate and it would take a lot of skill to cut perfectly by hand. I'll be using the Cricut Maker 3 cutting machine in this video, but you can also use the original Cricut Maker, a Cricut Explorer series machine, the Cricut Venture, or the Cricut Joy Extra for this project. Or you can use another machine that uses cut files. They're a little detailed to shrink for the Joy's dimensions, but some of my tips on line thickness and details can help you if you want to design your own to fit, so it is possible to cut on the Joy. Along with your cutting machine, you'll need a green standard grip machine mat, a brayer, and a spatula for removing the more delicate pieces. It's also handy to have a scraper and a weeding tool to deal with all the little cutouts that you'll get. Remember, these designs will be intricate, so make sure your materials are high quality. Your mat is sticky, your blade is clean, and you are ready to patiently remove cuts to avoid tearing. I've included a free pre-made snowflakes that aren't quite as delicate, so practicing with those is a good idea. And if you're making ornaments, you'll want to have some pretty ribbon and scissors handy as well. Now I've got a full list of the tools and supplies, plus links on where to find them in my materials list. It's over in my blog post at JenniferMaker.com/566. So, are you ready to get started? Let me show you how to get my free files and then we will make snowflakes together. Step 1, get my free personalized snowflake ornament design kit. First, download the Snowflake Design Kit at JenniferMaker.com/566. You can either download right from that link by saving the project, or download from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 566 and click the link to download the designs. Now, if you're not sure how to do this, visit JenniferMaker.com/svgs to learn how to download and unzip files. In the Download folder, there is a Design Kit SVG with elements that you can use to connect characters in your snowflakes. If you want to make a custom snowflake, the typeface you use is important. I'm going to show you how to design two examples, one using a font called Andalusia, and another using a font called Boeotia Script, which is a free option. After downloading your font choice, follow the steps at JenniferMaker.com/upload-font to add it before you start your designs. I'll use a Cricut Maker 3 cutting machine to cut my ornaments. You can also use an original Maker, a Cricut Explorer series machine, the Cricut Venture, or the Joy Extra, or another machine that uses cut files, including something like a laser cutting machine. Step 2, prepare your custom family name snowflake ornament. In Cricut Design Space on a blank canvas, click Upload and then Upload Image. Click Browse and find the Design Kit SVG file. Click Upload and then select the new design under Recent Uploads and click Add to Canvas. Click Text and type your name. Let's use Jennifer because we can address some challenges along the way. A typeface with connected letters, like a script font, with relatively thick, consistent lines will make this project so much easier. So, select the font menu, and I'll use the font called Andalusia. so look for it under System. And then with the lock icon at the top of the screen closed, adjust the name's size. Letters about 0.9 inches tall worked well for me, but it does depend on the name. Now this will be the first arm of the snowflake, but we need to connect more of the letters to save work later, like the J, F, and E spaces. That's when glyphs are really helpful. In addition to swashes, some typefaces have alternate forms of letters that you can swap in, and they're known as glyphs. Now I'm recording this on a Mac, but for the Windows directions, see my full tutorial on using fonts and glyphs in Design Space at jennifermaker.com/Cricut Font Finder. All right, so to find glyphs on a Mac, click on the magnifying glass icon and find Font Book. Open it and then find your font. Click on the View menu and make sure Repertoire is selected. Now you can see all of the characters. Let's try another type of capital J, like this one with a detail at the bottom. Select it, click Copy, and then go back to Cricut Design Space. Double-click the text that you already typed out, highlight the letter you want to replace, and then press Command+V on your keyboard to paste in the new design. That gives us more area to work with. Keep going, playing with different glyphs until you have a version that you like. I changed the F and R to versions with flourishes, so they'll be easier to connect in my snowflake. Now there's still space between some letters, so select the name and click Advanced, then Ungroup to Letters to adjust them independently. I'll click the J and move it over to touch the first E, then select the second E and R and then move them together to touch the F. Almost. Now for the dot on the I. Select the design so far and click Combine and then choose Weld. Now click Contour and select the dot to remove it from the design. We don't want that there because it would just be out there floating in space. Now click the Shapes menu and add a circle, and then resize it to about the original dot's dimensions. Drag that little circle to touch the top of the eye, and now everything is connected. Select it all and click Combine, and then choose Weld again. We'll add the other arms going clockwise roughly around the snowflake center point. So select the arm and then click Duplicate. Now let's rotate the arm. So in the Rotate field at the top of the window, type 60 to adjust the copy to 60 degrees. Now move the rotated text so its lower right edge slightly overlaps with the top right edge of the original arm. It might take some careful positioning, so just take your time. Now duplicate the original word and type 120 in the Rotate field for the next arm. Move this word so it touches the furthest right spot on the previous arm. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect yet. We might adjust them later, but select both of the rotated arms and then click Align and align top so they're even. Now duplicate the original word again and rotate the fourth arm to 180. Make its top left section slightly overlap the lowest right spot on the previous arm. Select both of the horizontal arms and then click Align and center vertically. Duplicate the original arm again and rotate the copy to 240 this time. Position it to slightly overlap the previous arm's last letter. Now duplicate the original arm one last time and rotate that copy to 300 degrees. Move this arm to touch the last letter of the previous arm and the original. Select this word and the previous one, then click Align and align bottom. Now zoom into the middle and make sure that all of the letters are connected. This is very important. And to make it sturdier, use some of the swirl elements to fill in the space in the open V-shaped spaces at the top. Resize, rotate, and flip the elements as needed until all of the characters are connected more. The more connections, the more sturdy this will be. And then hold Shift and select all of the elements in the space. Now click Group over on the right side to keep them together, and then duplicate them once more. Now we're going to use the same rotate, duplicate, and position process to fill in the other V spaces going clockwise around the snowflake. So for the second V, rotate the copy that you made to 60 and drag it into place. You might have to slightly adjust the filler elements to touch the words in each V shape. Just select the element in the Layers panel to move one independently of the others before moving to the next gap. Keep going. Remember that the magic rotation numbers increase by 60 each time. So the first one was 60, right? And then it's 120, then 180, then 240, and finally 300 for the last arm. If you want to make the design into an ornament, click the text icon and then type the letter O. Change the font to Cricut Sans, and it's a nearly perfect loop. Drag the O so it touches the ornament where you want the hanger, and resize it if needed. Select all of the ornament's layers and then click Combine and select Weld. There might be some tiny cutouts that you don't want, so select Contour and scroll down to turn them off by clicking on each one. This design will work as a single layer in a metallic poster board, but if you want to make another using medium cardstock, click Duplicate so you have two versions, two copies. Now change the copy's color so it will go on another mat, and then duplicate it twice to make 3 layers of cardstock. Text-only snowflake ornament with a background. There are some more design tips to try, especially if you don't want to add filler elements. I'll show you how to use my daughter Alexa's name in Boeotia script at size 72. So adjust the spacing or use glyphs to attach characters if you need to, but this will work really well. If the bottoms of the letters slant like this, click the rotate field and tap your up arrow until most of the letters are pretty straight, so they'll be easier to connect. These lines are pretty thin, so click Offset and set it to 0.03 to thicken them a little bit, and then click Apply. Select the original and the offset layer, then click Combine and Weld. Now duplicate the text once and select the copy, then click Flip and then select Flip Vertical. Move the copy so it just barely overlaps with the bottom of the original. Select both, then click Align and align left. If the edges don't overlap, try repositioning or rotating them until they do. Now select them both and then click Combine and Weld. Then use the same duplication and rotation steps from the earlier ornament to create and position the snowflake's arms. Remember, increase the rotation number by 60 each time you do it. Make sure all the letters are connected, then select the entire design and click Combine and Unite. To add a background for support, duplicate the design and then select the copy and then click Offset. I like the offset distance at 0.25 with round corners, and then click Apply. Select the offset and click Contour. Click any small cutouts to make the background mostly or entirely solid, depending on your name and preference. Now add a hanger to the offset layer and you are done. When your designs are ready, make sure the correct machine is selected and click Make. On the Prepare screen, set the material size to match your paper and then click Continue. On the Make screen, I want to cut the regular cardstock first, so I'll click the top cardstock mat. Now set the material to medium cardstock, 80 pound, with more pressure. This worked for my machine, but they're all a little different. So see my Cricut tips and tricks for cleaner cuts over at JenniferMaker.com/blades if you have any troubles getting a clean cut. Now place your paper face up on a green standard grip machine mat and brayer it down. Check that your fine point blade is clean and in the clamp. Press the flashing load and unload button to load the mat, and then press the flashing go button to begin cutting. When the cut is complete, very gently peel up a corner to make sure the cuts went all the way through. If they didn't go all the way through, press that go button again to make a second cut pass. Once the cuts look good, unload your mat and flip your mat over onto your work surface. Very gently roll back the mat to release the cardstock. I highly recommend using a spatula to help, since your snowflake will probably be very delicate. Now set the snowflake aside face up and then prepare and cut your other cardstock mats. Set the metallic poster board mat to metallic poster board with more pressure. Prepare, load, and cut your poster board the same way. Gently check the cuts before unloading. Be careful not to crease the surfaces. And when you flip the mat over, roll that mat back while keeping the poster board very flat to avoid any creases. If any cutouts stuck to the ornament, just use your weeding tool to gently poke them out. Here are what my cut pieces look like. Step 3. Assemble your name snowflake ornament. Let's start with the cardstock version. Place 2 copies of the ornament face up and 1 face down. Add small dots of glue to the back of 1 face down piece. Lightly place it on the face up layer and gently align the layers. Then press them in place and wipe away any extra glue. Glue the last layer on top and let it dry. Then just cut a piece of ribbon or twine about 6 inches long, feed an end through the hanger loop, and tie it closed. For the offset version, put small dots of glue on the back of the names. Then center it on the offset and press it in place. And then add some ribbon. And the poster board version is even easier. Just cut your ribbon and tie it through the hanger. Step 4. Show it off. Here's what my finished ornaments look like. Aren't they awesome? And we did it! With some quality paper and some patience, you can make these intricate ornaments. Just take your time, especially when you're making the design. If you make sure everything is connected well, they'll cut and come off the mat easier than a rushed design will. Be careful when you're gluing the delicate layers together too, and that will give you a gorgeous personalized snowflake ornament for your tree or to give to others. Plus, with so many pretty cardstocks available, you can make matching ornaments or mix them up to create a totally different look. Now, if you have any questions about working with cardstock, your Cricut machine, or anything else Cricut or craft related that you think I can help you with, please let me know. You can leave your question below this video or come ask in our Cricut Crafters group at JenniferMaker.com/CricutCrafters. And please come share photos of your beautiful snowflakes. Posting your pictures lets you show off what you've made, and it also inspires and motivates others to create, including me. And that's it for today. Until tomorrow, this is JenniferMaker reminding you to craft a life you love.